Don't forget to enter our Amazon gift card giveaway. All you have to do is like the video and comment. Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about everything we know about the 5th episode of Season 8, the Battle of King's Landing and For the Iron Throne, supported with trailers, teasers, leaked photos and previews. Before we take a look on many leaked photos and so much information we know about Episode 5 and the Battle of King's Landing, where we can see how Dany's Fire and Blood will look like, as well as how King's Landing will look like after it's all done and over, let's firstly take a look on the trailer for that episode. There are some huge things that you might have missed if not paying close attention, such as Jaime being on a trial at Dragonstone, but also Jaime sneaking up inside King's Landing later on. Here in this shot you can see a hooded man passing through the Golden Company as they march out of King's Landing to face the upcoming Dany's forces. That hooded man is Jaime Lannister. It's the same cloak and hood he had when arriving at Winterfell, and now he's got it when arriving at King's Landing. While the Golden Company marches outside the Red Keep, Jaime's heading towards it to face his sister Cersei. I'm really interested to see how the entire Jaime story plays out in the next episode. I really hope Jaime is not coming to try and save Cersei, as Brienne concluded he was when leaving Winterfell, but I'd rather hope he's going to, or at least try to stop the Mad Queen from doing any more damage than what she already did. However, before Jaime arrives at King's Landing, which I assume will not be in the very beginning of an episode, because here the Golden Company is marching out to face Dany's armies led by Jon and Tyrion, and from the preview we know Tyrion will be at Dragonstone before going to King's Landing, so this scene is probably taking place somewhere in the middle of an episode or even at the end of it. Anyways, Jaime will also most likely be at Dragonstone before arriving at King's Landing. Here in this shot we can see Tyrion, and on the right a man that by his posture and figure does seem to look like Jaime. In fact, I'm quite certain it's Jaime. How he ended up here? I doubt he came by his will, as he was going to the capital and not to Dragonstone, so I'm assuming it's Dany's forces that captured Jaime. Tyrion's worried face expression is what seals the deal for me. It's Jaime with Dany and Tyrion at Dragonstone throne room, and it's Jaime's another trial. This time he cannot pull off I'm fighting for the living card, and Dany will most likely imprison him. However, we do see Jaime a bit later sneaking inside King's Landing. How I think Jaime ended up from Dragonstone dungeons to here is that Tyrion probably saved him, like Jaime saved him back when Tyrion was locked up and waiting his punishment. No way is Tyrion gonna allow Dany to execute Jaime. I think Tyrion set Jaime free, and it will probably put Tyrion in quite a trouble later on. Okay, now let's focus on the Battle of King's Landing and leaked photos we have from King's Landing set. At the end of episode 4, Cersei chose violence over negotiations, and killed one of Dany's best friends and most loyal advisors. It was the perfect way to set up the hype and thirst of vengeance for us the viewers, but also for Dany. Cersei woke the dragon, and she will suffer the consequences in episode 5, Fire and Blood. Dany has lost almost everything, and if Cersei thinks she's safe just because she invited citizens inside Red Keep, she's up for a big surprise, as Missandei's last words said Dracarys. I can guarantee you Dany and the Unsullied will go on an execution spree in King's Landing. They will unleash all they have on Cersei, but unfortunately I think that will be exactly what Cersei wanted. If Cersei didn't want Dany to attack King's Landing and Red Keep, but rather wanted to end the war some other way, Cersei would not have beheaded Missandei. Cersei wants Dany to attack, and we'll find out why exactly in the upcoming episode. Qyburn does say to Tyrion that Cersei is fully confident she is in better position to win this war. As Qyburn pointed out, Cersei has stronger army and many scorpions to kill Drogon. I think Cersei has worked out this entire plan in her head, and will now watch it play out. Perhaps she wants Dany to unleash Drogon and start burning King's Landing, bringing Cersei opportunity to use many Qyburn scorpions to bring her last dragon down, and then use the Golden Company, Lannisters and Euron's forces to deal with the remains of Dany's forces. Or perhaps she intends to get them all fighting inside the capital and then burn them all with wildfire. One way or another, Cersei's face expression she gives Dany after killing Missandei is basically telling Dany, your move now. It just feels like she wants them to attack right there at that moment. As expected, Cersei worked hard on PR in King's Landing, and made the small folk see Dany as a conqueror, rather than a liberator. The army of the dead is a myth for them, a lie. Cersei also invited all the small folk to hide behind their walls, earning their loyalty, when in reality she's inviting them inside to use them as a shield from Dany and her dragons. Going into episode 5, it's a lose-lose situation for Dany, as with whatever plan she makes, she cannot please anyone. She just lost her child, her dragon Rhaegal and her best friend Missandei, which could have been avoided if she had decided to storm King's Landing in season 7, but she hadn't, because she did not want many innocent people to die. Now Dany is left with no choice but to kill Cersei, which will unfortunately take many small folk lives along. She tried to negotiate, she tried everything, and all she's got in return was losing almost everyone she cares about. Dany is going to burn Euron's fleet in episode 5, but Euron and his fleet will not be the only thing that's going down burning. Most of King's Landing will as well. Cersei is hiding inside the Red Keep and got herself surrounded by the small folk. Dany's got no choice but to burn the Red Keep, even if it means many innocent people will die along, and she will in episode 5 as leaked photos seem to be confirming. I'm a bit upset knowing that after this many will declare Dany the Mad Queen, which is definitely not. Even if she ends up burning entire King's Landing is justified. She tried everything to avoid it. She did not want to do it back in season 7, when she thought there might be other better solution to avoid many civilian casualties, but now there really is none. Dany's got to kill her enemies, and that does not make her the Mad Queen. Aegon the Conqueror burned many castles to the ground, ended up many houses which of course killed many innocent people along, as it usually goes with every war, but you don't see people calling him the Mad King. Everything Dany can do now is try to burn the Red Keep, before Drogon gets killed by those many scorpions on King's Landing walls. Leaked photos confirm that many parts of King's Landing will indeed be burned down by dragonfire, but I think Drogon the Last Dragon will get killed in the process unfortunately. I think Dany will manage to burn down the entire Euron's fleet that is just outside King's Landing and waiting for her, without Drogon getting shot. However, I do think Drogon will get hit by one of many scorpions placed on King's Landing walls. Leaked photos confirm that the last war will be the fall of the capital, King's Landing will burn. For the final season of Game of Thrones, the production for the very first time, instead of filming King's Landing scenes in Dubrovnik, they decided to make a huge King's Landing set in Belfast, and film most of the scenes there. All King's Landing shots you saw in episode 4 were filmed on that set. It's not a real city, it's a huge enormous set. The reason they built that set is so they can burn it down. That's the reason they had to build this huge set, rather than film all the scenes in Dubrovnik. It's not just the city walls, the set is far bigger than that. The crew built a whole city street. At one end there's the gate, and at the other end the front of the Red Keep. In between there are all types of different buildings. The most notable are the city gates and King's Landing Dome. However, as you can see in these leaked photos, the set was later burned down with a huge bridge between demolished towers. The city gate has been obliterated, and the towers that once protected it have fallen. Dany using Drogon has seemingly burned down huge portion of the capital, including King's Landing Dome. I'm not saying Cersei will not use wildfire beneath the capital to burn everything down when she realizes she's lost the war, which she could have done via CGI, but the damage done on King's Landing set is coming from Dany and her dragons. It's a well-known fact that the show built a King's Landing set mainly to do live pyrotechnics. It means that some parts of the capital will be burned down by a dragon, as dragonfire in Game of Thrones is portrayed by live pyrotechnics. Let's hope Arya and the Hound, who will also be at the capital in the next episode, escape before Drogon arrives. Dany's dragon that is responsible for a huge portion of the capital being burned down was spotted on this King's Landing set. What this means is that Dany will probably land at King's Landing, either because Drogon is mortally wounded and cannot fly anymore, or she decides to land after she's burned everything down. In case you're not really into filming and behind the scenes clips, let me remind you that if actors have to mount or dismount a dragon, part of its spine has to be physically recreated, which is exactly what this massive contraption on King's Landing set is. This massive contraption being on this very same set means that Dany will at some point decide to land in King's Landing. We have all known that dragons would eventually fly over King's Landing, as Bran saw it in his vision of the future, and we now know for a fact it's Dany riding Drogon, just moments before she unleashes her vengeance on the Red Keep. I believe Dany will burn down the Red Keep, killing Cersei and finally ending her reign. I'm just going to be upset that some people, probably including Tyrion, Varys and Jon, will be upset with Dany killing many innocent people along, but Dany really doesn't have a choice. Dany will burn down Euron's fleet and the Red Keep, killing Cersei, but also most likely killing Jaime as well, who will be with Cersei. It seems that after all, Cersei will be a woman he loves and in whose arms he dies. Regarding the battle outside the city walls between the Golden Company and Daenerys and Jon's remaining forces led by Jon, I don't think there will be a battle. I don't think the Golden Company will fight against Aegon Targaryen. I believe there will be a twist and the Golden Company will actually ally themselves to Jon. In the books they all allied with the person they thought was the real heir of the Iron Throne, the so-called Aegon. I think Varys will send them a word of Jon's true identity, whereupon they will switch sides and swear loyalty to Jon Snow there just outside King's Landing. Conrad Hill, an actor who plays Varys, teased that Varys will be as effective as always in Season 8. What this means and foreshadows in my opinion is that Varys will turn the Golden Company against Cersei and Euron, persuading them to fight for the last Rhaegar's son, Aegon Targaryen. We have been listening over and over again how the Golden Company have never broken a contract, that them breaking it as supporting Targaryens seems like such an obvious twist of the final season. Additionally, the Golden Company have already broken a contract in the books, and you guessed who was the reason, a Targaryen named Aegon. In conclusion, episode 5, The Battle of the Iron Throne, will be one epic episode, and one cannot wait for Sunday. Dany comes with fire and blood, Jaime comes for Cersei, King's Landing will burn, and the Golden Company will probably betray Cersei and side with Jon Snow upon finding out his true name is Aegon Targaryen. Please let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section down below. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to subscribe to our channel, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.